Hello, Region 9ers. Welcome to IAEM-USA Region 9 podcast, Region Talk. Here to give emergency managers a forum to get their news, share an open discussion, and talk about the industry. So today on episode 18, we're going round the regions. We've got our real ID in tow, and we're heading on over to Region 3. So if you're new to this segment, Round the Regions is actually a special segment this year where we're highlighting all of the regions of IAEM USA. But before we do that, as customary, we go through Region 9 updates as well as IAEM USA updates. So let's dive into those. One is our symposium. Thank you so much to everyone who attended, who sponsored, who supported, our volunteers. Shout out to our volunteers. Most importantly, thank you to everyone who made the symposium possible. If you have not submitted your evaluation as of today, please do so because we are getting our certificates of attendance ready to distribute, but we need your evaluation first to make sure that we have the correct spelling of your name. So you'll see that in our newsletter, our Region 9 newsletters, and our social media. Be sure to fill out your evaluation. Secondarily, we do have a request through IAEM Connect within Region 9, specifically to California, but for all of the region, to give some feedback on prison systems within emergency management. So any documents, contacts, planning, links or management, or even good wishes, please reach out to Zuzette Bricker. That will also be in your most recent Region 9 newsletter. As far as the region goes, Nevada just had their Nevada Preparedness Summit. So congratulations, Nevada, as did Arizona. Their summit ended today, or their annual conference ended today. So right on, Arizona and Nevada. And then for California, they actually do have their annual training and conference coming up. That will happen May 1st through the 4th. And the registration information will be provided in the newsletter as well. As for IAEM USA, there is the annual conference coming up, which the poster showcase submissions are open until April 21st. So go ahead and get your poster showcase for competitive and or non-competitive categories by April 21st. There's also the scholarship, which is worldwide, and they are accepting submissions through the 24th of April, so April 24th. The virtual conference is coming up. That will be April 20th and the 21st for 2 virtual days of learning. There's an agenda up on the website, sponsors, speakers, and how to register for the virtual conference. So those are the updates that we've got so far for Region 9, as well as IAEM USA. And now we'll get into our guest. We have Region 3 President who serves Region 3 encompassing Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C., Erik Gaull.
Hey, Samar.
Hey,
thanks for having me.
Of course. Would you like to provide a small bio, a brief bio of yourself?
Oh, sure. So I've been in emergency management basically since the early 90s. I started in the allied field in emergency medical services, then moved into firefighting, and then into law enforcement. So I've never found a uniform that I like to wear. I started taking some classes in disaster management through the University of Wisconsin, correspondence classes. I really liked it. I found it very cerebral. And little by little, my career has sort of migrated. I still do all the emergency response stuff, but I think I get the most out of emergency management. So I'm fortunate to be the IAEM Region 3 president, and I'm very involved in IAEM nationally. I'm on the conference committee. I'm IAEM's representative to the Emergency Services Sector Coordinating Council. I'm IAEM's representative to something called the National Homeland Security Consortium. I just ran for the tri-chair position and one of the 3 chair positions for NHSC. And because I'm located right near Washington, D.C., they seem to reach out and pull me in on a lot of different things because I'm literally a 10-minute drive from headquarters. So I try and make a regular basis, on a regular basis over to headquarters, have lunch with Beth Armstrong and see the folks there. But it's one of the benefits of being the region that hosts the IAEM headquarters and staff.
Definitely a benefit. Shoot, I only see Beth once a year. They're like, are you busy? That'd be awesome. That is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Alrighty. So thanks again. I thought it would be best for you to provide your bio and a brief history and background of yourself rather than just kind of sit there while I do it. But it definitely worked out for the better. Alrighty, Erik. So the first question that we ask any representative of the region that comes on the show for this segment is, how would you describe IAEM? And then what makes IAEM-USA Region 3 unique? So it's like a twofer.
A twofer. Okay, great. So look, to me, IAEM is the professional trade association for emergency managers. And that's distinctly different from a lot of other associations that are out there. Namely, I would say our closest organization would be the National Emergency Management Association, or NEMA, which really is the trade association or the collective group for state directors of emergency management. So IAEM, rather than just serving those state directors, really serves emergency managers at all levels, from local all the way up to federal, educational, private sector, nonprofits, all the different sort of facets of emergency management, all under one umbrella. And so we're diverse, both geographically. We are IAEM International, but we have IAEM-USA. We're the largest geographical entity within the association, but we have entities in Asia, Oceania, Europe, all over the world. And when we have our IAEM-USA conference each year, the annual conference, we really do draw people from all over the world, and it's an opportunity to really meet people in our line of work from everywhere. So what makes Region 3 unique? Well, we are the best region.
Oh! Continue. Let's hear it.
No, we are unique because we actually house the National Capital Region, so Maryland, DC, and Virginia. We also have Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Delaware. And so we're compact, a lot more compact than a lot of the other regions. And we have a very high concentration of emergency managers, and especially high concentration of people involved in federal government emergency management. So the folks at FEMA, we represent them. The folks at other parts of the federal government, we largely represent. And I would also say that because there's so many contractors, federal government contractors, that support various agencies with emergency management and continuity of operations planning and things like that, that we end up being the region that supports those folks as well in the private sector who really work with the federal government a lot. So I think that makes us unique.
I would say indeed it would. It would definitely make you unique.
And we're the best. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, of course, that other slight little thing that you threw in there. All jokes aside, we share love for each region, no matter what region you come from. Alrighty, so tell us a little bit about what's going on in Region 3. Do you have activities? Do you have in-person events, virtual events? What's going on in Region 3?
So when I ran for Region 3 president, a lot of people said, well, why do you want to do this? And I said, look, spend $199 a year if you're not a student member. And that's a lot of money to be a member of an association. And so you really need to get more than just like a wall certificate and a pocket card to carry around, or a bumper sticker to carry around, nice t-shirt, like, shirt like this. You need to get value added for your membership dollars. And I said, we're gonna commit to doing things that add value, that make people think that I have spent $199 very wisely because it supports me in my chosen profession. So we implemented a newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter. I got to tell you, I got a phenomenal communications team. I think it's 8 or 9 people on the comms team. And Billy Pappas is our comms director. And he, he's, all I got to do is hit him up with an email or a text message. Hey, Billy, I need this. We have social media presence. So 2 people doing social media. We have presence on LinkedIn. We have a presence on Facebook, and they're constantly putting stuff out. We do a newsletter each month, and Billy has a newsletter team, and that team puts out stuff like highlighting, spotlighting Region 3 members, what's happening in legislation, what's happening in terms of training activities, internships that are available. And I think, people get that in an email form. It's all electronic, and it provides real value because, if you're in Pennsylvania, let's say, and you want to get some practice doing an exercise or something because you're chasing down your CEM and you need an exercise for your CEM package. Well, if you only have recourse to the Pennsylvania training and exercises portal, then you're missing out. So we publish as much as we can so people can say, hey, I can hop down to Maryland and I can get in on this exercise or this class. We have a podcast. Todd DeVoe helped us set it up and gave us a lot of guidance. I don't know that our platform's as cool as this StreamYard that you use, but our podcast folks do an incredible job. So Billy has 2 people that do the podcast with him, and our podcasts are all archived up on the website. So if you want to go and listen to them, they're really cool. We do webinars. My goal is to do about 1 webinar a month. We're falling a little short of that. It's hard to get them scheduled, but we've had some phenomenal webinars. We've had presentations both by IAEM members and by people outside the association, in federal government positions or what have you. We started a book club, and our book club meets pretty much every other week. And Ashley Morris is, she is just a powerhouse. She's all over everywhere. Also very involved in the Weather Caucus, and she does a great job. She could be a college professor. And so we select a book, we read a couple of chapters. It's not a heavy lift. So it's, 50, 60 pages every 2 weeks. Ashley always has questions prepared. And we have, I'd say, a steady cadre of about 10 to 15 people that come and go. Not everybody makes it all the time, but we have great discussions. And, we did disasterology with Dr. Samantha Montano, and we had her on the on the book club website meeting. We did a book that talked about meta leadership, and we had Rich Serino, former deputy administrator from FEMA, who was mentioned several times in the book. And so he came on as a surprise guest and talked with our folks. So it's really fun, really engaging conversation. And I tell you what, if people are interested in getting into our book club, I know you guys are about 3 hours behind us. It might be a little early in the afternoon for you. We generally, I think we pushed it back to about 6:30, so it'd be about 3:30 p.m. on Thursdays, every other Thursday. But if people from Region 9 want to be a part of our book club, we'd welcome them. All they got to do is get in touch. And the best way to do that is my email is iam.r3@iam.com. So get in touch, and I'll connect you guys, any of you folks, to Ashley, and we'd love to have you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the offer. I think we will definitely jump on that.
Of course. So what else are we doing? We put on a symposium last summer. We were doing them each year in the spring, but we switched to summer last year because of the new virtual IAEM conference that's occurring in the spring. We didn't want to really conflict with it. So we put on a symposium last year with the help of George Washington University. We were able to do it live and webcast. We came up with a unique solution that allowed us to do that for under $100. So people were able to register for, I think it was $25 for the day. And that included, get this, a ticket to that night's baseball game against the Atlanta Braves. Needless to say, the Washington Nationals got pounded by the Braves, but it was a fun time. So we've had great luck with our symposium. We're planning another one this year for the summer. What else? So I'm trying to do more face-to-face events. It's kind of a challenge. Don't want them to all be in Washington, D.C., but we're working on it. And one of the kinds of face-to-face events that we're going to try and do are job fairs, because employers are having a hard time finding people, and people are having a hard time finding employers. So we're going to try and do job fairs where we get a bunch of employers in sort of like a hotel conference room. We get people that are interested in meeting them. We just put the two of them together and let the magic happen.
Nice.
And then we've got a bunch of initiatives that we do sort of like internal. So we just completed a revision of our bylaws. Our bylaws hadn't been updated since 2008. It was time. So we did a revision of our bylaws. We just voted on them last month, and the bylaws passed. And so now we have a new set of bylaws that sort of align better with the current bylaws of the IAEM-USA. We just embarked on a strategic plan that is being led by our Vice President, Sarah Root, and she also led our bylaws effort. And so we don't have a strategic plan. We need a strategic plan. And so we're going to put one in place. And so we have, I solicit volunteers. I send out an email and solicit volunteers. And we probably got 20 people that said they wanted to participate. And so we have a strategic planning committee. We also started up an awards committee and awards and recognition. So yes, there's an awards and recognition program at the national level, but we also feel that we can do it in Region 3. And in the past, we had a 40 under 40 award. I don't know how we're going to structure that this year. Maybe we'll do a 40 over 40. I don't know. That'd be great for me. But I'm letting the awards committee sort of do their own thing. I try not to micromanage it. I just say, hey, Sarah, run with that. Do whatever you're going to do and report back. And then also we've done a fair bit of fundraising. And we are very strong believers in Region 3 of supporting students. So last year we sent 10 students. We gave them stipends to attend the annual conference. And for at least one student, if he hadn't gotten a stipend, he wouldn't have been able to go. He wrote me and said, thank you very much. Really appreciated it. And so we offset their costs. And we did that by fundraising. So for those of you who have been to the annual conference, you'll know that there's the raffle basket. And the raffle basket is one of the cool traditions. Every region and some of the caucuses, some of the students and other universities put together a basket of swag, and people buy raffle tickets, and then they throw the raffle tickets into a little bag based on their interest in that particular raffle item. And I am very, very proud to say this is one of the reasons why we're the best region. I am very proud to say that for this year and last year, or the most two recent, actually the last three conferences, Region 3 has raised the most money on the raffle basket. So this year and last year we did a coin case somewhat similar to this one, that very same case, but we solicited challenge coins from around the region. And so we had some really cool coins, and they included CIA coins and FBI coins and all sorts of really cool coins from around Region 3. As you might guess, we have some really cool coins. And so we had the most number of tickets, and then as chance would have it, I won the coins. So I said, well, you know what? That's not going to work. So I donated the coin case and the coins back to the association. They held an auction in January, an online auction, and they raised a couple $1,000s, I think. So those are all Region 3 raffle basket. And then we also do, when we do our face-to-face meeting, we do what I call a call for cash. So I put it out there to the membership, and I send an email out letting people know. And we basically were able to raise about $5,000 last year and almost $5,000 this last conference, just from people, writing us a check or giving us cash. So that money goes directly to the scholarship fund. So pretty proud about that. So very nice. Region 3, I think we're pretty active. Region 4 has slightly more members than we do, but we're hot on their tail. And I like to think that my two main competitors are Region 9 and Region 4, and so we.
Well, next month we got Region 4, so we'll see what Region 4 has to say.
Well, fortunately they have a new president, because Josh Morton and I were neck and neck. But he's no longer the Region 4 president. He stepped back, but we'll see what they can do, those Region 4 people.
Alrighty. With all that engagement, has there ever been a loudest ask or concern of your membership that you've heard thus far?
I can't really pin any one thing down. I think people, especially on the coattails of COVID, are really hungry for direct face-to-face engagement. But I can't pin down like one specific ask that I've heard again and again. I think people in our region are basically pretty happy. I get emails from folks saying thank you. The emails that you send out, the newsletter, the kinds of engagement that we're doing are on target and meeting their needs. And we have close to 1,000 members in Region 3. So, I don't expect to hear from every single one of them, but on all the emails I send out, I give them my phone number and my email. But it's pretty quiet. We don't have a lot of grumbling members, and I'm happy about that.
I mean, it sounds like you've really navigated engagement for your membership for the entire Region 3.
I like to think so.
Superb job.
Well, thanks. I like to think so.
All righty, Eric. Let us know let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
So the absolute easiest way to get a hold of me is using the standard IAEM email, which is IAEM.R3@IAEM.com. right? So of course, like Todd's email would be iam.r9@iam.com. It's pretty easy. So just .r3, and that's easy. And then I think we also have contact information up on the IAEM webpage for us, for our officers at any rate. But that's the absolute easiest way. And then people want to search on use the IAEM website. They can certainly search on the membership database and get my phone number and stuff like that as well.
We definitely have the Region 3 description in the podcast, and we'll definitely also be sending out a newsletter, including the offer to joining your Region 3's book club. So thank you again for that one. And thank you so much for being on this podcast episode with us. And I guess we'll be having maybe a different type of exchange on our podcast. We could be on your podcast over in the Region 3.
Flattery or imitation is the highest form of flattery, right? So I'm going to go back to Billy and tell him that we need to start interviewing the other regions and make that available on our podcast. But
there you go.
We certainly appreciate all of the guidance that we've gotten from Todd and from Region 9.
Well, I will extend the thank you to the executive board for sure on your behalf. But thank you again, Erik. We're going to wrap things up real quick on this side. Many good things are happening around our nation, so it's great to hear what Region 3 is doing. And so more to come, obviously, in our newsletter in regards to this episode. And if you enjoyed this segment or you have an idea for another podcast topic, we want to hear from you. So DM us or direct message us on any of our social media platforms or get a hold of any Region 9 representative. Additionally, thank you to our sponsor, Merit. And of course, thank you to the man behind the scenes, Brian at Sitch Radio, for being such an awesome producer. And a reminder, if you have not already, follow IAEM Region 9 on all of our social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And to get the most recent updates, go ahead and let us know what we need to do to be informing you of everything Region 9. So keep on rocking, Region 9ers. We appreciate you.